Hi guys, what's the crack? You're watching K Reviews, and right now we're going to go through my top 10 most anticipated movies for 2016. So, important to note, there are a lot of movies coming out this year and I am aware of this. So just because I don't name a movie doesn't mean I'm not looking forward to seeing it. This is just a list of my top 10 most anticipated movies for 2016. Now, the way I'm ranking it doesn't mean that these are the movies that I think are actually going to be the best movies coming out this year. It's just that these are the ones that I am most looking forward to. So I'll go through the ones I'm most looking forward to and I'll tell you why I'm looking forward to them. And I know we're a couple of months into the year, so I'm a bit late on doing this video, but none of the movies that came out so far are actually on my list of top 10 most anticipated movies and weren't in the first place. Doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy them. There were some good movies that have come out so far, but all the movies I'm really looking forward to are coming out later on in the year. So, enough backstory. As they say in Sweden, let's do this. So kicking off our list at number 10 is the movie Inferno, directed by Ron Howard and based on the Dan Brown novel of the same name. It's a follow-up basically to The Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons, which are two movies I really enjoyed, and I love the mystery thriller genre anyway. This one has me particularly intrigued because of the title, which of course is a reference to the Inferno segment of the Divine Comedy, which is a story and a concept of hell that I absolutely love. So bringing those kind of concepts into the world that was already established in the first two movies is something I'm really looking forward to seeing. It stars Tom Hanks again as a brilliant symbologist, Robert Langdon. I love watching Tom Hanks in movies. I think he's a fantastic actor. And Hans Zimmer is back to score the movie Best in the Business. So this movie has a lot going for it. It comes out October 14th and I'm really looking forward to it. Next on the list, and based on the popular video game series of the same name, is Assassin's Creed, starring Michael Fassbender and Marion Cotillard, two fantastic actors who I really enjoy watching on screen, so I'm looking forward to seeing what their performances bring to this particular series. And while I played the first two Assassin's Creed games, I mean, Assassin's Creed is one of those series like Call of Duty where they just started milking it for money, making them way too frequently, and not really adding any substance to the next installments in the series. But the first two games had a very solid concept and were visually stunning and had some really great combat in the gameplay. So I'm looking forward to seeing them bring that onto the big screen. I'm looking forward to see what they do with the animus on the big screen, the whole genealogy thing, memory thing. I think it's a good plot, so I'm looking forward to seeing how much of that they put into the movie. What I'm more interested in is the possibility that if Assassin's Creed does well, like the superhero genre, maybe it'll open up the door to them making more movies of video games. I know there have been movies of video games before, but if they really nail this one, maybe they'll make some more movies based on video games that I really think actually deserve to be on the big screen and ones that I'd be far more interested in seeing on the big screen. So here's hoping. Independence Day Resurgence. Now, I'm not a massive fan of the original Independence Day. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. I think it's a good movie. But it wouldn't be like one of my favourite movies ever made, and it's not like I've been waiting for a sequel my whole life ever since I saw the original one. When I got this news, my world was just made. They made a second one! I haven't been like totally waiting for this news, but when I heard it, I thought, that's cool. I'm excited that it's a sequel and that it's not a reboot, that after this long they're not deciding let's remake the original Independence Day. I think it's cool that they are continuing the story that they already established. I think it's great that Jeff Goldblum is back. I enjoy watching him, he's a great bit of fun. And the trailer sold it for me. That just looks like a big budget sci-fi bit of fun. I'm really looking forward to this movie. Next up on the list is a movie that a lot of people might not actually know about. And it's an animated movie of the 1988 graphic novel The Killing Joke, which is one of the most famous graphic novels ever written. It's written by Alan Moore. And basically it's a Batman comic that gives a possible backstory for the Joker. Now, it's not the definitive backstory for the Joker. There is no definitive backstory for the Joker. The Joker's character is constantly reinventing himself, which is why he says in the comic, sometimes I remember it one way, sometimes I remember it another. If I'm going to have a backstory, I prefer it to be multiple choice. So it's not a backstory for the Joker. What it actually does is it gives you a bit of insight into the Joker's philosophy. The reason why he does what he does, which is that all it takes to reduce any man to insanity is one bad day. That's the joke. Now, the Joker is my all-time favourite villain, so I'm really looking forward to this iconic comic which focuses on him being turned into an animated film. DC and Warner Brothers have done a lot of other animated films. They've done a great job with them. They did the two Dark Knight Returns movies. They did Year One. They have a lot of Batman ones. They also did the Flashpoint Paradox, and they have them to a T. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with this one. They've said they have to add in scenes to make it long enough for it to be a feature film. So I'm looking forward to see what they add in as well. So it'll be a surprise for anyone who has already read the comic, but then it'll be a surprise for anyone who's never read the comic. It's definitely going to be worth checking out. It's rumored that Mark Hamill's going to do the voice, and he's hands down the best Joker out there. He voiced him in the Arkham video games and the animated series, so I hope that rumor is true. Kevin Conroy is rumored also to be Batman, also the voice from the Arkham games and the animated series, and he's the voice of Batman that I hear anytime I read the comics. I'm really looking forward to this, and hopefully it'll open the door to doing some more animated films, including Arkham Asylum by Grant Morrison. Here's hoping. Spot number 6 goes to X-Men Apocalypse, which is coming out in May. It's a movie I'm really looking forward to. I've wanted to see Apocalypse in the X-Men movies for quite some time. I wanted to see him on the big screen. He's a cool villain in the comics. I really liked him in the animated series, and he's scary. The name Apocalypse, it just brings to mind all, you know, the end of times from the Bible and stuff, and they even have the 4 horsemen of Apocalypse are his servants. So it just brings to mind this scary idea that all is about to end. And I've wanted to hear the title X-Men Apocalypse for quite some time, so when I heard it I thought that's great, and I saw the trailer. There was that really creepy sound effect in the trailer which was cool, made him even scarier. His costume looked cool, and Oscar Isaac's a good actor, so I'm looking forward to seeing him. Now the reason this movie isn't further down the list is there are things about the trailer that didn't excite me, and that's basically the role of Mystique from what I'm seeing from the trailer. Mystique is a villain. Just because Jennifer Lawrence is playing her and she's all popular now because of the Hunger Games doesn't mean you can suddenly decide let's make her a hero. I want Mystique to be a villain, so I want her to be with Apocalypse. Why didn't they just make her one of the 4 horsemen? Okay, I know I'm nitpicking because who cares? Anyone's going to really care about in this movie is watching Apocalypse do some shit, yeah? But I just personally would rather Mystique was a villain and Storm, who seems to be one of the horsemen, was a goodie. That's all I wanted. I want Storm to be with the X-Men, I want Mystique to be a villain. Stop making Mystique out to be a hero just because Jennifer Lawrence is playing her. In the comic book, she is a villain. In the animated series, she is a villain. Anyone that's ever watched the movies before this, they know her as a villain. Keep it that way. All that aside, I am looking forward to this movie. I think Bryan Singer is a great director. He did a great job on the first X-Men. He really set the tone. And when he came back to do Days of Future Past there, he really brought it all back. You know, X-Men had gone through a dip when it went to The Last Stand and stuff. He brought it back. I think he's going to do a great job on this movie. It looks like thematically it's going to be incredibly interesting. I think James McAvoy looks great in it from the trailers. Michael Fassbender, I enjoy watching him. I like his younger version of Magneto. I think the costumes in the trailer look great. It visually looks like it's going to be a fun movie, and I'm really excited for it. Spot number 5, Doctor Strange, Marvel's Doctor Strange. I had heard of Doctor Strange, but I knew nothing about him, and then I watched the Marvel's animated film Doctor Strange. Loved it, thought it was great, really thought the character was interesting. He was far more emotional than I thought he was going to be. He was far more tragic than I thought he was going to be, and in the most human of ways. Even though he has these ridiculous powers, he has this odd name, he has a crazy responsibility as protector of Earth kind of thing, but he had like really human issues. Like, you'll wait and see when you watch the movie, right? But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it on big screen. It's not further up the list at the moment because I haven't seen any footage of it, so I don't know what tone they're going to go with. I mean, but I think we can trust in Marvel. They've made some really great movies, and I think they're going to do a good job with Doctor Strange. And Benedict Cumberbatch being cast as him, I'm a Benedict Cumberbatch fan, so I'm looking forward to that, and I think he's going to do a great job. Next up is Rogue One, a Star Wars story, the first in the anthology of Star Wars movies outside of the kind of episode movies and just within the Star Wars universe. Now, of the anthology movies that have been announced so far, you know, the Han Solo and the Boba film, this is the one that has me excited the most. I am really looking forward to the fact that they're going to center on a team of people we've never met before. It's going to center more on rebels without the Force, without, you know, Han Solo and those other characters. We're going to get to see some rebels fight war essentially with the Empire, and it looks like it's going to show how they stole the plans to the Death Star in New Hope, which means it'll tie into A New Hope. It'll fill a little gap of time that's between 3 and 4. I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be great. I think it's going to be really, there's going to be a feel of nostalgia while seeing something new, because it's going to be a side of Star Wars we haven't seen before, but we're also going to see it tie into a certain time scale, you know, with A New Hope, which is the first ever Star Wars movie. There's also a very high chance, in fact, it's going to happen. We all know it's going to happen. Darth Vader is going to be in this movie. I'm looking forward to seeing him from the Rebels' perspective. these normal guys, they don't have lightsabers, they don't have the Force, they have no way of really dealing. Like, Vader is going to be a far more imposing threat to someone who has no way of fighting him, really. So I'm really looking forward to seeing some of that on screen. The only reason this isn't further on the list, I'm a massive Star Wars fan. The Force Awakens was fantastic. I love what they did with it, and I have full faith now in Disney doing the Star Wars movies. And the only reason this isn't further on the list is because I haven't seen any footage of it. So I don't know what the tone's gonna be like. It's a different director. I don't know what it's gonna actually be like. But it's this high on the list purely for the fact that it's a Star Wars movie. We're up to the top 3. And this spot goes to Captain America Civil War, the next installment in the Marvel franchise, and the first installment in Phase 3 of the Marvel movies. I really like Captain America the Winter Soldier. I think it's Marvel's strongest movie to date. I thought it was relatable, I thought the themes were important, I thought it had a bit of social critique going on there, as well as being just a good movie, and it had stuff going on it that is important to Captain America. It's stuff that should be discussed in a modern Captain America movie. And this is a follow-up to it. I actually think it's going to be better. I think Civil War is going to be the best Marvel movie to date. I'm really looking forward to the whole fight between Iron Man and Captain America. You know, when two heroes clash, it's basically a clash of ideas and a clash of ideals and of morals. Who's in the right? They're both good guys, so they both have the reasons. And I think it's going to pick up in a really interesting way. I mean, Iron Man probably wants heroes to be restricted now as a result of the fact that he created Ultron. He feels responsible for all of that mess. Whereas Captain America doesn't want restrictions because he's been fighting for freedom his whole life, and restrictions sounds like Hydra and what Hydra were trying to do in The Winter Soldier. So for anyone who doesn't know, Civil War is basically based on a storyline from the comic books where they brought in the Superhero Registration Act. Well, all superheroes had to register their identity and become part of the government essentially. They could no longer act outside of the law as vigilantes, and their identities had to be publicly known. I don't know how much of that they're going to put into the movie, but because it's called Civil War, I think that is going to be the basis of the storyline. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be really political. And of all the trailers I've seen, I think Civil War was probably the one that impressed me the most. It was really epic, really gripping, and it looks really emotional. And look, someone's going to die. I don't know who's going to die, but someone's going to die. I'm looking forward to seeing this movie. So the spot for my second most anticipated movie for 2016 goes to Suicide Squad, which I mean includes the Joker, and as I said earlier, he's my all-time favorite villain ever. If you put the Joker in a movie, you're in for a good time. He just allows for good writing, and Jared Leto's playing him. I think he's a great actor. I think he's going to do a great job. But this movie has a lot of other things going for him. I mean, it includes the first ever appearance on the big screen of Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Killer Croc, all characters who I love, and some other characters that I don't know very well, and I think a lot of people don't know very well, so it's going to be interesting to really get to know these characters from the comics, these iconic characters that have never really had their time on the big screen. The first trailer for Suicide Squad I'd probably put on par with the trailer for Civil War in terms of my enjoyment of it. While Civil War had this epic emotional quality to it, the first trailer for Suicide Squad, you know, the one with the Bee Gees song, you know, I Started a Joke, it was dark, it was serious, it was like an epic in a different way, and like it was very dramatic. I really liked that. I like the vibe. I like that DC are going for really dark, gritty kind of a vibe, more kind of edgy. Well, you know, so that keeps their own identity. They're not copying Marvel. They're not doing what Marvel are doing, which is lighthearted, colourful, bright. DC are very much go for a very, very dark tone, and I think a lot of that is due to Batman and his universe really, and what he brings to it. And I think that's great. I like dark, I like gritty. I think that allows space to go into darker themes and to really explore darker sides of emotions and stuff. And when you're dealing with villains, I mean, this is a film about bad guys, so it has to be dark. And I think it looks like a fun movie as well though. The second trailer, Bohemian Rhapsody, looked fun. The first trailer, the I Started a Joke one, looked really dark and serious, which shows the two sides. I think this is going to be a dark, serious movie and a lot of fun. And hey, the Joker's in it. What can I say? It's going to be awesome. And the spot for my most anticipated movie for 2016 goes to Ghostbusters. Fresh and exciting. I'm kidding. No, the number one spot of course goes to Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. In the year dominated by superhero movies, of course this one had to be the one I'm most looking forward to. It's Batman v Superman. Like, there's no other way of putting it. You're talking about the two most famous, most popular and most iconic superheroes not only on the big screen together for the first time, but fighting each other on the big screen. That's just cool. They've taken a lot of visual inspiration from Frank Miller's version of Batman in The Dark Knight Returns. So that's going to be really cool. Any footage so far I've seen of Ben Affleck's Batman, I've been really, I've loved that trailer. The final trailer where they showed him doing all that fighting, taking on those guys in the building, it was very Arkham style fighting. That sold me. I was like, this guy looks great. I love the automated voice they've given him. It adds that kind of scary fear thing that Christian Bale is going for without him just putting on a grisly voice, so that's cool. I like this version of Superman. I enjoyed him in Man of Steel, so I'm looking forward to seeing where his character is now, and does he feel guilty for his actions from Man of Steel? Like, the trailer is set up that a lot of other people don't trust him as a result of it, which is the whole basis of the conflict. I wonder, does he feel guilty, or does he feel like he needs to defend himself and that, people are just pushing him out because he's different? I think Wonder Woman looks great. Any of the footage is in Wonder Woman. It's great that we're finally getting Wonder Woman on the big screen, and she looks cool, she looks fierce. Zack Snyder himself, the director, said that he's going to give people a reason to like Wonder Woman is very popular and people have Wonder Woman merchandise everywhere, but no one really knows why she's popular. He's going to remind them of why she's so popular, why she's so important. I mean, she is definitely the most important, most famous and most iconic female superhero. She's finally hit the big screen, so that's going to be great and really set up her own solo movie coming next year. And then a movie titled Batman v Superman, that just tells you this is a movie about conflict, but conflict between two heroes. So like the whole Captain America Iron Man thing where it represents different ideas, that's essentially what this is. I mean, obviously the actual physical fighting is going to be great to watch, and Zack Snyder has shown before in Watchmen, 300 and Man of Steel that he knows how to do great action scenes. So visually, the action sequences I think are going to be fantastic. But this movie will also be what Batman and Superman represent, and the fact that those representations contrast each other, and I think that's going to be fascinating. Essentially, their fight represents a philosophical debate. Batman represents a world that's broken and it needs to be fixed, whereas Superman represents a world that's not yet broken, but can be if moral standards aren't upheld. And I think that fight's going to be really, really interesting, and there'll be lots of debates, I suppose, as to who's in the right and who's in the wrong. Also, the movie's been scored by Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL. So Hans Zimmer scored Man of Steel, The Dark Knight Trilogy, Inception, Interstellar, so much more. He's definitely the best at the business. And then Junkie XL, well, he scored Mad Max Fury Road, and that score was incredible. And I think the idea is that Hans Zimmer is scoring Superman and Junkie XL is scoring Batman. So even the music is going to be contrasting each other and representing the battle between the two. So I'm really excited about this movie. Batman is my all-time favorite superhero. I think this movie is going to be important. I think it's going to be great, and it's coming out this month, so that's why I think I'm just so excited about this one. I think that's why it takes the top spot. It doesn't mean that it's going to end up that it's going to be the best movie of the year. It might not be. Of course it might not be. Some of the other movies might be much better. Suicide Squad might be better. Captain America Civil War might be better technically in every way, right? It's just that it's the one I am most excited about at the moment. So guys, those are my top 10 most anticipated movies for 2016. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to do any other top 10s, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Anything at all, like top 10 James Bond movies, top 10 favorite directors, top 10 Pokemon, whatever you want. You could throw a suggestion my way. I'll have a look at it and I'll see if I can do a video on it for you guys. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to this channel. I will be reviewing all the movies that I just named as they come out, including lots of other movies, TV shows, video games, music, lots of other stuff that will come out during the year. So to keep up to date with all that, be sure to subscribe to this channel. And also be sure to like the Facebook page in the description below, as I put a lot of information up there and it's a good way to catch my videos. So guys, that's my list. Be sure to let me know what movies you guys are most looking forward to this year. What's your top 10 most anticipated movies for 2016? I've been Kay. You've been awesome.